It is October 4th, 2023, and the mayor of New York is headed to Colombia. Follow along.
You're watching DC-born Rob, erasing news. And now, news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching DC-born Rob, erasing borders. I'm DC Rob. This is just going to be a quick story about the mayor of New York heading to Colombia and actually heading to the Darién Gap to actually see how people from all around the world, not just Colombians and Venezuelans, are trying to get here. They're coming from Cameroon and China and Bangladesh and everywhere, and they all end up through the Darién Gap. That's that funnel. A hell of a jungle that everybody has to go through. Let's jump into this quick story. It's probably only 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll meet you on the other side. The mayor of New York will be in Colombia. Eric Adams will visit the Darién Gap due to the increase in migrants in his city. The arrival of Mayor Eric Adams to Colombia is expected to be registered next Saturday, October 7th. The migration crisis occurring in the Darién Gap has affected several countries in Central America and has generated concern in the United States government due to the increase of migrants trying to cross the border with Mexico. The international press reproaches the actions of the Colombian government to mitigate the problems related to the migrants. One of the cities in the North American country that has been most affected by this social problem is New York, in which since the spring of 2022, more than 100,000 people have settled in what is the second largest urban agglomeration on the continent, which is why the mayor, Eric Adams, has asked that Joe Biden's government implement more effective measures to mitigate the problem. Likewise, Adams stated in his first week of September that migration could destroy New York. Since of the 100,000 new migrants, at least 60,000 of them are under city's care, including 20,000 minors. I have never had a problem in my life that I didn't see an end to. I don't see an end to this. The issue is going to destroy New York, said Eric Adams. With the aim of better understanding the factors that generate the immigration crisis, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, announced that he will be in Latin America for the next 4 days. The tour will begin on October 4th in Mexico, then Ecuador, and finally visit Colombia. The news was confirmed after a meeting was recorded between Adams and the Colombian ambassador to the United States, Luis Gilberto Murillo, a meeting in which they spoke about how the humanitarian response should be addressed and the challenges that have arisen with the migration crisis. The arrival of Mayor Eric Adams to Colombia is expected to take place this Saturday, October 7th. He will land in Bogota, but with the objective of visiting the Darién Gap, the only land border between South America and Central America. It is a jungle of 575,000 hectares that migrants must cross in order to reach the United States. The meeting with Mayor Adams and his team offers an excellent opportunity to talk about the shared challenges generated by the current migration crisis, as well as the ways in which Colombia is addressing irregular migration in our country and in the region, he stated, Luis Gilberto Murillo, after the meeting. The immigration crisis that is occurring in the United States has generated several public and private exchanges between the mayor of New York and the president of this country, since Adams has assured on several occasions that there is no concrete leadership to counteract the problem. Although other cities in the nation have been affected by the increase in migrants, New York is the place that has allocated the most funds to mitigate the arrival of the foreigners, which could cause losses of up to $12 million in the next year. Despite Biden's intentions to improve the relationship with Adams, people close to the mayor have pointed out that the adapted measures are not enough, which has affected the image of the North American president in the face of possible re-election. The White House has made a conscious decision that it is better policy to let New York suffer than to try to solve the problem. The city is being left to deal with the colossal problem on its own, were the words of a New York mayoral official, according to CNN. So there you go. So the mayor of New York City is going to Colombia to tour the Darién Gap. Again, he's in Mexico and Ecuador. Let's hope he makes it out of Ecuador. You think everybody else has problems? I mean, Haiti's got problems. Haiti's got problems. But Ecuador, off the chain. Venezuela's bad. Colombia has its issues, but nothing like Ecuador. or Haiti right now. Anyway, so the mayor is going to go toward that. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. I don't get into politics on this channel, of course, because there's always two different views. But one thing I hope you take away from my statements right now, there's always two different views, but there's one freaking country. Okay, we have to come together somehow. I mean, Congress can't do it. The Senate can't do it. Everybody is working for their one side. I don't want everything to be all Democrat. I'm a Democrat, registered, but I don't want everything to be all Democrat. I don't want to get everything I want. And I don't want Republicans to get everything they want. I mean, this is a country. We're supposed to negotiate this stuff. If they can't negotiate, get the hell out. They're not doing their job. Let's vote some of you younger cats. And I'm talking to you. There's somebody out there right now that's able to run. I mean, I want the smartest, the sharpest, the strongest, the one with the most skills in negotiating. And you have had to have been in the military to run for president or even office. I don't think you should be in any public office if you haven't been in the military. Simply put, you shouldn't be a congressman or a senator. It shouldn't be just full of lawyers like it is right now. We got lawyers running this country and they're all stealing from us from both sides. So for those who say Menendez, there's somebody on the other side who's stealing. They're all stealing. They all have 401ks and they all have oversight of certain companies, and they have this insider information where they're using to make money. Let me tell you something. Everybody in Congress and the Senate is coming out richer than when they went in, and it's not supposed to be that way. Anyway, you get where I'm coming from. I'm not on either side, Democrat or Republican. This is supposed to be a country. We're supposed to be together, and there are certain people, and not even on the Democrat side. You know it if you're a Republican. There's a small group on the Republican side that's just trying to destroy this country. I mean, if you were another country and you were trying to infiltrate this country, this is what you do. Find a small group of people who are willing to take bank and do what they say, to do their bidding. You know, whether it's China or Russia or somebody else, any of those people who want to influence us over here, all they got to do is get through to a few people on this side, on either side. It's in both sides. There's somebody on both sides, but it is vocal on the Republican side. And you know what I'm talking about. And they are just destroying every semblance of normality in our government. I mean, I'm old enough to see a bunch of governments come and go. Okay. Former President Jimmy Carter is 99 years old, almost 100 years old. And that man's done more outside of office than the last 10 presidents have including Obama. So don't think Obama, he did all this stuff. He was a good figurehead. He was a good president without scandal and all that good stuff. But they all have faults. You can't get into that position without having faults and without having something, somebody got something on you, you beholden to somebody else. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, I've said my piece. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I don't know what the answer to immigration is. I said this years ago that if we put the military on the border, we would stop the immigration crisis. Okay, now we just sent a few 500 troops, 1,000 troops, whatever, down to the border. But the reason I think we don't is because we don't want to close the border. Because how else are drugs going to get in the country? And those who want the drugs coming in the country are those elected officials that allow this stuff to happen. Okay, so it's our elected officials that have not closed that border or have not come up with a resolution to the immigration crisis. I mean, you have the World Bank that goes around the world, give all these loans, and then when the countries can't pay the loans back, then the countries default and they're crushed. So what are the people supposed to do? I mean, they see us as the land of milk and honey, and they're trying to come up here and more power to them. I mean, again, I don't know what the answer is, but there's people that come through the Darién Gap that are coming from all around the world, not just Venezuelans. I mean, yeah, there's a big bulk of them recently, not just Haitians, not just Cubanos. I mean, they're coming from China. They're finding people. Watch my documentary that I did, a few months ago on the Darién Gap, or just search YouTube, Darién Gap. And you'll see it is pure hell. I mean, there's people dying every day. There's hundreds of them coming through right now, today. And this stuff and they have to go through how many other countries on foot and on the top of trains? Go look up the train of death if you haven't investigated that. Look up the train of death through Central America, especially through Mexico. They ride on the top of these trains. I mean, they go through hell to get here. I mean, and they make it here. Don't know how they do it, man. Don't know how they do it, but they make it here. and they make it to Canada. Man, Canada is so diverse. I mean, if you're one of my Canadian viewers, you know Canada is way more diverse than the United States. That's what I say. I've been to a bunch of countries, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 different countries, but Canada is diverse. Canada is diverse. You will see everything, and everybody's living in peace, and you don't have that same mentality that you have here in the United States. Again, I don't know what the answer to immigration is, but the figureheads, the people that we vote into office to do their job, are not doing their job. Somebody's got to come up with an answer. But I think it starts with taking care of those countries to make people not want to leave their country, first of all. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember to travel, but travel safe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant day.
Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. Join me on social media. I am DC Born Rob Official on Instagram. I am DC Born Rob Official 1 on TikTok. I am DC Born Rob O on Twitter. Don't be like this guy right here.
You're just so stupid. I had to send you a video to let you know you're so stupid.
That's right. Don't be like this guy right here. Join me on social media.